Oops.
Good
I
morning.
had it on loop. Oops, my
Good
fault.
morning. Welcome to the simulation, guys. Also, welcome to Market Check, brought to you by BB. There is no second best live YouTube stream to talk about markets. We got another great week in store for you all. Hopefully, some volatility this week. We'll see. I know we have FOMC, so we'll be hearing from Jerome Powell here in just a few short days. We'll see if that moves the market. Right now, we've got equities green. We've got Bitcoin green. It's kind of interesting. We did have like a very strong, move down kind of, I would say a little bit before the weekly open on the weekend. We've since recovered that. We had a little bit of a pump into New York Open that we have now kind of retraced. I guess it's kind of par for the course, right? So like mean reverters are winning to start the week. Are we going to get a trend finally? Or are we just going to be stuck in this forever range? Find out this time and maybe next time on Market Check. But welcome, guys. I'm Snorlax. You also know me as Tommy. I'm joined by Max and Big Louie. Before we can start cooking about these charts in a little bit more depth, you guys should know the drill at this point. Let's hit the like button. Let's run up the like button. It's Monday. Let's start the week off on the right note. And hopefully that we can push Bitcoin and crypto into a trending environment, whether that's up or down, right? Was this a fake out move to the downside before we go higher, or is this just kind of a test dump before we actually begin to trend lower, right? It's kind of an interesting week, not just because we have FOMC, but obviously last week we're kind of seeing a little bit of strength on volatility. It kind of got suppressed. I mean, it's just kind of like a very headline sensitive market at the moment. We've yet to see a headline that's really big enough, in my opinion, to move this market materially lower. So for me, it's just kind of a question of, all right, well, what are we going to see the stock market do? I know people don't love to hear that, right? They want to know what Bitcoin and crypto is going to do. But I think to a large degree, we have to continue paying attention to the stock market, particularly the Mag 7, right? Which is probably been what Bitcoin has been, I think, most correlated to throughout this cycle, is the Mag 7. And the Mag 7 has largely been in distribution, I think, since like July and August. So if we can see the Mag 7, particularly like a Google and an NVIDIA, start to leg up again, maybe we can see that strength come out of Bitcoin and crypto as well. But, I mean, much has been made about the fact that over the last few weeks, the last few months, the IWM has ripped into price discovery. Precious metals are pulling off, like once in a multi-decade move. Looking at you, silver, even gold up 2% again today. First to 5K, gold or ETH. I wonder who won that battle. But yeah, we're seeing these blow-off moves in precious metals right now. I think the question that everybody has is, all right, what does the market do when these precious metal parabolas are over? Is that a sign that, all right, the fun's over and everything pulls back? Or is that a sign, kind of how it's been for the last few years, where precious metals finish their pump? And then we kind of see that rotation into Bitcoin and crypto a few weeks later, right? But I guess we'll see. How are we doing, guys? What are we seeing in the markets? What do we think about FOMC this week? Do we think it means anything for prices? I haven't even looked at yields today to see what they're doing. I know we had a bit of a government shutdown scare coming at the end of the month. I have not checked the odds on that, but yeah, seems like just our wonderful world of markets is on the precipice of volatility, but continues to, I think, range.
Yeah, good morning, guys. Good morning. It was kind of a wild weekend, right? We saw some Sunday scammery down, left a couple K, Bitcoin CME gap. And just a reminder for those that are unaware, it's obviously FOMC week. So in 48 hours, we'll be tuning in to the most important event that we've ever had since the last one and until the next one. So I guess for the next 48 hours, I remain pretty just skeptical of really any kind of local impulse. It seems like more or less every FOMC week is kind of riddled with the same nonsense of, everybody feels super convicted one way or the other. And then we get a whipsaw on Wednesday, and then usually some like actual trends begin following, FOMC. So until the second half of this week, I remain just kind of skeptical, or just disinterested. But we'll see what happens, right? Bitcoin and ETH both filled in their CME gaps this morning. Price looks awkward at best. My systems are still generally looking for longs, but not in a position right now. So that's kind of where I remain, is like I still hold like meme coins and things like that. But in terms of like active positioning, I'm really more so on the sidelines, just kind of waiting until after FOMC, waiting for maybe some structural clarity. I don't really think there's a ton of like merit in positioning pre-FOMC. I feel like that usually doesn't work out well, but sometimes it can, I suppose. So yeah, that's, just another snip snap. We've been here for like over 2 months doing literally nothing. Which sucks because we're seeing stocks, like small cap stocks, doing pretty well. Like there's been a lot of action in, US small caps. Commodities, obviously, making all the conspiracy theorists like finally vindicating them after 50 years. And we chose to invest in the future, being crypto, and we are being punished for it because what the most frustrating thing about it for me is that we seem to be completely uncorrelated from everything that we have been. Like fiat weakness, like Dixie looks terrible, doesn't matter for crypto. Rate cuts don't matter for crypto. US small caps popping off don't seem to matter for crypto. Global liquidity rising doesn't seem to matter for crypto. Commodities doing well usually indicate that crypto is going to do pretty well. Nothing seems to matter, right? So for me, it's a bit difficult to kind of wrap my head around like what we should even watch anymore because our asset class is just so anemic. Can't get off the mat no matter what happens. So it's a bit tricky. It's definitely a bit tricky and it's a bit frustrating. That meme of Squidward looking out the window at like Patrick and SpongeBob like having a great time. I feel like that's all of us in crypto right now. Just like looking out the window at like all the boomers once again. Oh, my like small cap exposure is finally moving. Oh, my gold and silver is finally moving. Like we're doing it finally, and it's just like us watching all of them having fun. So yeah. Hey guys.
Pretty much.
Yep.
How are little investors doing?
Bad, bro. Bad.
Yeah. Dixie looks bad, man. To be honest, I wasn't even aware it was FOMC week. That puts a damper on my day. I simply hate FOMC weeks. Because usually it's just a lot of nonsense price action leading into it. And usually a little bit afterwards. So that's a little frustrating. I don't think it's a massive FOMC, right? I think this is what Jerome Powell's last meeting as the Fed chair. I think everyone's pretty much looking forward to the new Fed chair, who's going to be coming in and, how that's going to be operated and ran, which has been signaled very clearly that the White House will have significant, I don't want to say control, but significant say in how the monetary policy is ran there. So I don't really see this FOMC as a big, like monumental one, as sometimes they may feel, unless Jerome Powell wants to throw a wrench at everyone's head on the way out, but other than that, I guess probably gonna have a little more chop and uncertainty until we come out of Wednesday. And usually those are pivot points, like Max said, and we get a direction finally picked. But yeah, I mean, it's pretty crazy watching all the other markets. You have S&P pretty much breaking out here. You have the NASDAQ attempting a breakout here. You have the Russell already breaking into price discovery. You have silver and gold putting in monumental parabolic moves. And we are still stuck in crypto in a multi-month range. I'd really like the optimism. Me really does want to believe that eventually this can't last forever, and eventually we do get some resolution, and And maybe that's a catch-up trade in a big way, like crypto usually does, where it does nothing or it trades sideways and then erases months worth of downside price action in just a couple weeks. That's the optimist in me. But I understand why that's extremely hard to believe when we've now gone multiple months with that correlation just not being there and us just kind of doing our own thing. So maybe this week in that FOMC gives us that pivot point reversal that we're looking for here. But give me something, anything. I don't care, but get me out of here.
Give me anything. I mean, we got a little bit of a move down, obviously, right around the week open, a little bit before it. We're obviously seeing some reversion to fill that CME gap. So, I think it makes sense now that we should, in theory, get a little bit more clarity maybe into and out of FOMC, specifically from crypto. But yeah, I mean, I'm pretty taken aback at how these precious metal pumps just keep going. Not in the fact that I think that it's totally out of the blue on a higher time frame that we're seeing them, but just what does it mean for the market when they're done and even just start consolidating again? Where are they done? I guess that's a question maybe for Jackus, particularly a silver, for example. But yeah, just nuts what's happening over there. And then at the same time, I look over at equities, and I feel like I'm seeing some small caps actually start to show some weakness, particularly like a Palantir. I know it was green on Friday, but I think when I look at that chart, it looks like distribution. Hood is looking to me a lot more like distribution. There's some other names that I could pick out too, but I really think if you want to see upside for crypto, you need to be seeing something like an NVIDIA, probably leg higher, right? Because crypto, I feel like for most of the cycle has been pretty correlated with the Mag 7, maybe not giving the exact ROI as something like an NVIDIA, but as far as when we're legging up again, when one is showing weakness or strength, we'll probably see Bitcoin end up following. So is NVIDIA in distribution? If it is in distribution, all right, well, when is crypto, or rather, when is NVIDIA actually going to leg down so that crypto can finally bottom, is what I would say.
Well, what's up, guys? Nice to be back after a week break. Yeah, it's quite crazy what we are getting into the commodities, and it's funny and sad for many people because as you pointed out, people join this emerging asset class only to get outperformed by asset class that's been here for thousands of years. But I think, as always, it's good to be, positioning all assets or having ratios, good ratios, sometimes a bit more, sometimes a bit less, depending on the favorability, if I pronounce that right. It made sense for me to be positioned for the silver trade here. But I also am optimistic despite my current bearishness on the crypto market for the future. I still have my hopes that 2026 will be a good year eventually, and possibly 27. I'm not a believer of the 4-year cycle, as you guys know. And but locally, I still think there is more pain to come, and I think that the chart kind of confirmed that over the past 2 weeks.
What are you looking at here, Louis? Bitcoin against NVIDIA, looks like.
Yeah, this is Bitcoin NVIDIA. Sorry, I didn't realize I was on mute. This is Bitcoin NVIDIA because we were talking about, Tommy was mentioning the relationship between Bitcoin and NVIDIA. So I figured let's pull up the pair chart. I mean, we've been in a steady downtrend pretty much since 2022 compared to NVIDIA stock here. What's good to see, though, is we have broken this downtrend. We have returned to the lows, right? A lot of times you see with these diagonal downtrend breakouts, it's you get the breakout traders trying to catch it. and then you return to the lows, and then you go. So I do like where this pair is at. And looking at 2021, this is pretty similar looking to what 2021 looked like, where we broke the downtrend, and this was the 2021 bull market. I mean, that's for Bitcoin in general. Bitcoin, like if you do maybe if you looked at like others, Nvidia, this chart's going to be way worse. But I mean, Bitcoin, even with its movements off the lows in 2022, 2023, still hasn't broken out against Nvidia. So you could put the argument out there that Bitcoin hasn't really entered a bull run compared to AI at the moment, which is how I feel. I mean, more so altcoins and ETH, but even this is showing that AI has taken a lot of the capital away from crypto, right? But maybe this is a sign that we could see a rotation, right? Tommy mentioned Palantir, looks distributive to me, right? Nvidia looks a little distributive to me, right? So maybe what crypto needed all along was a lot of these AI stocks that have been acting like a vacuum to the liquidity in the market as an emerging technology asset class that normally crypto would get. And maybe we needed that to slow down first in order to see this liquidity. So I don't hate how this pair chart looks. I think this looks ready for higher, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, it does look moderately accumulative, but it's a pretty deep throwback, right?
Yeah, it is. Like you can't really this is where you got to hold. You got to hold where you're at now. So we got to.
I mean, I would say also in the 2015, 2016, how that chart looks. If you were to look at that one, see, we actually swept the lows there before the real bull market began. Even draw a horizontal line across that capitulatory low. Yeah, kind of something in there, right? I see enough of a similarity there where we kind of broke out, pushed up, final jeet down, and then pushed. But
yeah,
I mean, I feel so even right before we came on the stream, we were just talking about the crab, the snip snap, the BS of it. And Tommy said, we are getting expansion in February. And I said, Tommy, you're underestimating the crab, more or less. I was like, you still have faith that this asset class will do anything or is worth anything. And he kind of looked at me. He's like, well, actually, you said something interesting there, because I don't know if I do think it's worth anything and people are going to realize it. So is it fair to assume that we've been here, 9 or 10 weeks now, chopping on Bitcoin, give or take, depending on where you want to measure the beginning of this chop solidation from? Do we think it's reasonable to assume that regardless of direction, we will get some volatility expansion in February? Tommy, you think yes, right?
Yes.
I'd love for you to elaborate on that. But Louis, Jackus, do you guys agree that this range is coming to an end sooner rather than later? Or do you think we can stay here for another quarter? Or even, let's just start with a month, right?
I think we are either getting volatility to the downside, or I think that's the most probable outcome. But if we were to get an upside, then I think we do move higher. But we don't necessarily go straight to all-time highs. I think it would take much longer, and we would establish a new range, maybe 3 months, at the higher prices. So either a small volatility spike followed by another range of 3 to maybe 5 months. I suppose 3 would do it, but hard to predict the timing as always. Or we are getting bigger volatility to the downside.
It's coming. February astrology is so gnarly. I'm telling you guys, if we don't get volatility in February, I'll be stunned.
Is it bad?
Probably.
Take a guess.
Yeah, probably.
But
I'd be
remember, you
more
still have
worried
a choice.
if I take the latter always. No, I'm kidding. But I'd be more worried about bad astrology if we were trading up here versus down here, right? But not to say we can't come lower, right? This could easily be a 2022 style shoulder, right? Which a lot of people have pointed out several times, a million times. This is all I see on my timeline.
I don't know what
counted
you're
a
talking
million,
about.
Louis,
Yeah.
way more than a million.
Nobody is prepared for this scenario. Nobody's prepared for this scenario. Imagine the smell. Like,
They do ask you to
Oh my-
imagine the smell. It would smell bad. It would be stinky. I'll give them
I
that.
don't know what it would smell like.
Imagine the smell.
But apparently no one's prepared for that scenario when that's all I see on my timeline, and everyone's prepared for it, apparently. So I don't know. We'll see. Again, it's clear we have some untapped lows below us. I do like, zooming in here a little bit. I do like that we took a nice chunk of this like 87K liquidity here, where we took out a nice chunk of these lows. Now we only have a couple sets below us. But I do like that we took that out last night, because I was starting to get optimistic here. We took one. We started pushing 90K. I was looking for a squeeze at 90K. That got rejected. We came lower. We swept this entire chunk of untapped lows. That has me feeling good, right? Because the more lows we sweep, the more likely we're going to go higher. But inevitably everyone's waiting for the rest of these lows, right? Because that's what we normally see is all the lows get swept no matter what. That's what we're used to Bitcoin doing. And that makes sense. And I get that. But what I'm kind of voicing is that nothing is guaranteed in these markets, where everyone is talking about a certainty of these lows getting swept. Sure, probabilities are high, but it's never a guarantee. There's no such thing as a guarantee in these markets. So I still don't hate taking shots as far as some altcoins, taking a shot at some altcoins here to the long side. I'm seeing a bunch of setups kind of staring at me in the face that if I didn't have PTSD of the last 2 years of crypto, I looked at those charts, I'd unbiasedly just be long regardless. So I kind of have to take the crap price action we've seen over the last couple of years, put it, don't forget it, but put it to the side for a second. Look at some of these charts objectively. A lot of these altcoins are trading at range lows. Where, again, like Max said, every single market out there is looking bullish. I just really don't see a world where Bitcoin and the crypto market remains uncorrelated for much longer. And to me, that puts Bitcoin as a beach ball underwater, right? Where is this one deviation where we failed once, we come back up, you try again, you push 94. This is going to be a big catch-up trade in a meaningful way. And I think when that happens, you may see, something like ETH Bitcoin or even altcoins start to take dominance away from Bitcoin, because that's when you historically see it. If this is a mid-cycle correction, we're no longer in a full-year cycle, like Jackus has mentioned, which I'm kind of in the belief of as well, where I think we're fully moving away from that. Things have changed in a big way. This market is not what it used to be. So if that's the case, that could also mean that this cycle hasn't really occurred yet, right? I just showed you the NVIDIA Bitcoin chart. Bitcoin is not even broken out against NVIDIA yet, and has been in a 4-year downtrend. So if we are in a mid-cycle correction, that is normally when you'll see ETH Bitcoin outperform and take the dominance away from Bitcoin, where we could see something like this, like we saw back in 2021, where it kind of chopped around here, got back inside the range, and we started moving back to the upside. So I'm aware of the downside potential, but I still am optimistic for upside and taking shots on some of these altcoins. Something like a Hyperliquid looks really interesting to me here.
We've been talking about that level since, it's got to be 4 months, right?
I've been waiting for months for this level.
But that's the thing
here.
about calling out these levels that are far away, is when you get there, it doesn't feel as attractive as when you pictured it going there, many, many months prior. I will say.
Yeah. When we were up here, we're like, oh yeah, $20. Like, that's
I'd love to buy it, and then we get there and it's like,
yeah,
lower.
It's crypto still looks like shit. Like, I don't trust it. I'll get my my $10 level or my single digit high, and which is totally on the table, right? It's either it's going to hold here and crypto is going to reverse hard, or we're going to have a lot more pain in this market. Like I totally understand that. But when we are at these kind of do or die levels, this is where I like to do business, right? Because either we're going to reverse or we're not. And regardless, if we're not, then everything's going to go to shit anyways. Like just kind of how we were talking about ETH at the lows in March and April. We were like, ETH has a bounce here or it's dead, right? And what did it do? It bounced, right? So like something like a Hyperliquid, man, like coming into this level, coming into low, like key levels from early 2025, you're starting to see some daily bullish divergence forming, just kind of like how we saw back here before this rally it had. I'm taking shots down here on stuff like this.
I want to throw one thing into the mix here, just as like a talking point. February has the second most bullish seasonality of any month for Bitcoin, going back to 2015. Second to that of only October. So the average monthly gain in October is 19%. October is usually good. It would suck this time around, right? We had the October 10th massacre. Seasonality's been kind of a meme this time around. I don't think it should be completely disregarded, but I think it could be used as, you know, that div looks really nice there, by the way. But I do think that seasonality is something still to consider, even though it's been a little bit more neurotic and unpredictable this cycle, or at least for the latter half of it. But February is actually a pretty damn bullish month seasonally. How do you guys feel about seasonality? Have you given up on it because it's just failed for like the past year, or do you think there's still some merit in watching it?
I think seasonality is definitely a good one, but just like, you know, sentiment or anything, it's simply a confluence tool. So you cannot look at seasonality alone. You need to have it supported by other factors. And if it lines up, it increases your odds. But yeah, it's like, you know, like BTC is still very fresh new asset class compared to all other ones. And it's correlated to other macro asset classes too. So I think it's important to look at those. Then it's important to look at the BTC seasonality and also understand in which phase are we, right? So if you're going to look at like the last 15 years of BTC and you're going to look at the average, you know, October return, I suppose that's nice. But hey, you know, are we like trading above, you know, some moving averages or below them? I think that's important to answer. So technically, even in a bear market, you can get like a bullish March or something, but that bullishness is likely going to be like a 3%, you know, bullish monthly close, while in reality, it's going to be just a bearish move in general. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a healthy approach, you know. It's just another piece of the puzzle, you know, when trying to formulate your bias. But I will say January is typically not great. There have been some bullish ones, but on average, negative return. February, usually pretty solid. March, kind of meh. April, May, pretty good. You know, but I mean, I think if the direction that we pick, like from this range, is down, I was pretty clear with our community this morning. Like, I'm still cautiously optimistic because my systems are looking for longs, not shorts. They're not in longs right now. But I think if we break down from here, like Bitcoin is not going to like 75K. Bitcoin is going to like 45K, 40K. I think you're going to put every ETF buyer underwater. So like mark out when IBIT started trading, draw a horizontal line. That's below where we're going. So I think it's really, I hate to say this, but it's like lose this level and it's lights out. We could take out some lows. We could, you know, chop a little bit, but we are holding here, or IBIT buyers are underwater for the first time as an aggregate, in my view.
I agree. I think for me, it's like The reason I can't really subscribe to the idea that we bottom in like the 70s is because I think equities are, whether we're doing this now or whether we're doing it in the second half of 2026, I think equities are in store for either a larger or a longer correction than the one that we had last year. Obviously, which went down all the way into what price was it? Like 4,800. I kind of think we're going to be trading below that level on the S&P this year. So that's my bias. I don't really know how Bitcoin can bottom at 75K, but I don't know. I guess that could be changed if equities are legging higher again into like 7,500 or higher on the S&P. And as a result of that, maybe Bitcoin makes a new higher high. And so that floor would hypothetically raise. Like that to me is how you could get like the 75K bottom. But I think as it stands right now, it wouldn't really be my bias that that's going to hold.
Mm-hmm.
I personally disagree. I think that I think we go lower, but I don't think we go to 45. I think if we do, we go much lower, and I think price will defend higher levels.
Well, now that you disagreed with me, I have to personally attack your character. Okay, because that's the
I know.
CT. That's how we do things. Okay,
But I feel nothing, so go for it.
somebody disagrees with you, you run a smear campaign on them. I'm going to dox you. I'm going to share your address. I'm going to tell them horrible lies about you. I mean, that's rule 101 in like being a niche internet micro celebrity. Yeah, that's me. How dare you disagree with me?
Oh, you have
When
a
you
different
can't debate the
view?
topic, you attack the individual.
Yeah.
Hey, you better take that back. How dare you? You disagreed with me? Are you calling me stupid? What?
That's not what I said.
I have a hard time believing this level gets lost as well.
Okay, now I have to attack you too. Thanks, Louis. Now,
Yeah.
all right. Now I got to cancel my afternoon to attack both of you guys.
But you have to dogs him.
Oh, I'll
you gotta
yeah,
dox me.
I'll come for him, man. Like I'm gonna try to cancel both of you guys for disagreeing with me. It's just
Perfect.
yeah.
And my
I was
pain.
gonna make a video today, but I don't have time anymore. Now I'm busy. Afternoon is booked up.
Yeah. Yeah, I have a hard time. Like just 2021 all-time highs. You don't put an 8-month consolidation in for no reason, in my opinion. I mean, this is market structure. I mean, can it break? Of course, right? But I would just have a hard time thinking that's going to happen. But I mean, anything can. But if we do come lower here, which when we did have this market structure break, this was my target, right? This was like, okay, we've got the market structure break. We should be seeing some downside. But we have stayed here a little longer. I was also expecting markets to catch up to crypto to the downside like we normally see. We didn't see that either. So that's why I'm more or less bullishly optimistic that maybe we don't even have to worry about that argument, because maybe we just don't come down here and we continue higher. Although probabilistically is less likely, right? Because now we're in a high time frame downtrend, but it's not zero. Right? So I'm telling you there's a chance. But if we do come down here, this is a must bid level.
We'll
Like,
bounce
you
there.
gotta be
We'll
bidding.
bounce there. I'm just saying I don't think that would be the end of the road. Let me just expand it. Could you pull up IBIT for me for a moment?
Yeah. No, that's Ethe.
All right, draw a diagonal from that first low that was put in. No, the first low. Like right there, across there, right. Okay. And then draw horizontal across that big base, the 8-month base that you had there, Louis. Yeah, right there. I think if we did break down and you saw IBIT under that diagonal, no doubt I think we'd bounce somewhere on that 8-month consolidation and maybe even bounce up pretty solid and like retest where we're at right now. But I find it hard to imagine that we would just like reclaim that diagonal after that dip. and maybe it doesn't matter. Some people think that, these diagonals matter, some don't. I could also point out dozens of instances where we've lost a high time frame diagonal, consolidated, and then just made a new one. That like trend is over, we consolidate, make a new one. But I feel like if we drop down there and if stocks start selling, I don't see why we wouldn't put every IBIT buyer underwater. By the way, let me just be clear for those with selective hearing. I'm not expecting that right now. I think I'm one of the last kind of cautiously optimistic bulls standing, truthfully. Again, that's my own kind of gauge on sentiment because everybody follows different people. So like what Tommy or Louis or Jackus is seeing on their feed is probably very different from the sentiment that I'm picking for my feed, right? It's very subjective. But looking at this structure, these ETF buyers that triggered the bull market, they haven't been pressured. Like there's been moments of pullback, but it's been a very successful endeavor for all of those who have participated in buying the Bitcoin ETFs from launch. They haven't been materially pressured, right? I would think that if we do lose this level, you'd probably bounce around that 8-month consolidation, but I'm not super sure or confident at this point that it would actually hold.
Yeah.
Let's deliver more cylinder.
Dude, I hope so. I'm so tired of this market, man. Since last November, it's been nothing but bullshit.
Yeah,
Nothing but
it has.
bullshit. It's been
It
terrible.
really has. It really has. And it was hard for me to get bullishly optimistic again, but here I am. But again, I'm a Jets fan, so this is just my character and my nature.
You've got a high tolerance for pain, for sure.
And Sam Darnold is going to the Super Bowl.
I was just about to say.
Yeah,
Should have been you, Louis. Should have been you.
Not him. Great meme, by the way. I don't know. I'm still taking quite a bit of signal out of the coin weakness. Like for me, that's like the most compelling case for downside in crypto is that Coinbase, which Coinbase premiums have marked the bottom of every single low cyclically since this market cycle began in 2022. Like Coinbase looks like it's about to rug so hard. You look at patterns that look like this, and if they're not Livermore cylinders, they're ripping down. They're ripping all the way back down to the accumulation range. So, that's kind of what I think coin is going to do unless we get this very sudden reversal. And given that, I think Bitcoin and crypto can absolutely go much lower than here.
Shit. Well, shit. Dude, how about silver up another 10% today, trading at $1.14 an ounce, man? That is just...
That's insane.
Okay, Jackus, I need to pick your brain on this, okay? Because you're the commodities guy. You foretold this move like 3 years ago, all right? You've also done some great intermarket
But hey,
analysis.
wait, Max.
Yeah.
Listen. What about this guy?
Oh yeah, he's right. Yeah, he's right.
You said I just picked this 3 years ago, but apparently we don't get anything right.
No, he's right. And actually, I would like to invite that guy to help me on my smear campaigns for Jackus and Louis this afternoon. Just shoot me a DM and like we'll work on this together. Like we'll come after these guys. Like they're never right. I've never been wrong once in my life, but these guys, they've never had a call right, and that's the thing. Like we gotta come after them. These guys are. I didn't mean to say Jackus was right about silver. I meant to say he was wrong about. He shorted at 22. He didn't buy. So, just to be clear,
I'm getting short squeezed right now.
And here's the thing: is I have a video on this YouTube channel, like 2.5 years ago, talking to Jackus about silver at like $20 an ounce, and you would listen to it, and it would sound like he said, "I'm buying silver here. It's going to like 300 an ounce." It would sound like that, but that was just. We edited the video like years after, and we had a voice, like he didn't actually say that. We're just pretending that he said that. So he didn't even though all the receipts are there and they look like he nailed it. Obviously, it's just AI or something. Like it's just not real, even though it was 2.5 years ago. But Jack, let's just pretend you aren't wrong about everything, even though obviously that guy in the comments said you are, and of course he's right. You've also done some really great intermarket analysis showing the correlation between Bitcoin's move and like silver and gold's moves. Is that correlation dead at this point?
Well, first of all, let me tell you that silver is now at $114.2.
Really?
Those of you in the old school who believe this is a bubble simply have not understood the new mathematics of the commodities, or you did not care enough to try. Bubbles are mathematically impossible in this new paradigm. So are corrections and all else. But
bubbles are mathematically impossible. That's my favorite line.
yeah.
That is the best. There's no second best. It's just that. It's just that line.
Mathematically impossible in this new paradigm. But yeah, what about the EM correlation? Well, it's been going on for a long time, and unfortunately for all crypto enthusiasts, it broken in July, or I wouldn't say it broken. It got crimed away by probably the current U.S. administration alongside CZ and a few others. I don't care. I don't want to point fingers. Who knows? But definitely what we see is that crime unfolded on 10 stands. That's guarantee. And since then, the market diverged with silver. It's very visible on the chart. It can be factually documented. My theory is that it got crimed for a little while. I believe BTC is getting paused here, the correlation with silver, because this is how Bitcoin was supposed to look like, in my opinion, as well. My theory is that it's getting postponed right now. It's shaking out. It's a max shakeout, max crime season. We have to respect it. The big puppeteers, the max crimers are out there. But once that's finished, my hopes are still at the end of Q1. It could be finished, but we'll see. I do believe a big repricing to the fair value will happen, and it will look exactly like this. It will be very quick, very violent, and there is going to be lots of cope and lots of sideline money.
So the short answer is it's broken temporarily, but you think there's a chance we could resync back up in like a quarter, roughly?
Not in a quarter. I think in a quarter we hopefully bottom out. My best hopes is by the end of 26.
Mm-hmm.
Realistically 2027, but we'll see.
What if we're right here?
That could be ETH, maybe.
And everyone's waiting for these.
I could see that being ETH. That kind of looks moderately like ETH structure if you really squint hard at it. But
let's pull it up next to it. Why not?
If you just squint super hard and just pretend, then it's identical.
You know what this move on silver does remind me of? It's a move that Jackus caught also is XRP.
No. Jackus hasn't caught a single one.
We haven't caught anything right, Tommy.
He's never got one right. Ever. None of us. Especially Jack. No one has ever gotten a call right.
It's Jackus. It's never Louis caught that move. It's Jackus caught that move too. What's going on there?
Louis, you also never caught anything right. It was a plural. These guys never caught anything right.
No. You've never caught one. Jackus has never caught one. 100% accuracy on the fade meter. Both of you.
Yeah, just fade.
Which is why I have to dox you both later. So.
My name's not really Louis.
It's Mr. Meatstick.
It's Dennis. Yeah, what if we're here?
That's from the SpongeBob movie.
Funny.
I'm familiar with your game.
What if we're here? Wouldn't it be funny?
It would be very funny. Yeah, it would be really funny. I actually think it's so funny I'd cry on camera in front of everybody. That's how funny it would be. I think I would people would be concerned for me as a grown man because I'd be like bohemian wailing on market check out of celebration. Like I'd be overcome with joy. I would be probably unsufferable. Like you probably want to unsubscribe from the channel because I'd be that happy. You'd be like, this guy needs to shut up. And I simply wouldn't. I wouldn't know how to.
To be fair, though, this was coming out of an uptrend. This is coming into a downtrend. So, to be fully transparent,
Well, but also you're wrong about everything. So we should probably fade that.
Yeah, just fade that.
The fake war.
Tommy, what have you been wrong about this week that we should go over?
This week?
Talk about all your losses. Yeah, tell me.
I'll talk about one thing I might be wrong on is USD JPY, man. That gave a nasty puke on the weekly open. That to me is like, that's not good for risk. If that's going to continue, you need USD JPY to break out if you really want risk, in my opinion, to keep going higher. Because, like, yes, the yen is being devalued, and a lot of that money is finding its way back into risk markets and just kind of markets in general, right? Like, look at the Nikkei. But if the dollar is going down more than the yen, that's a problem. That's a really big problem. Because then I think you have like the two pillars of like a lot of the collateral within the system, the yen and the dollar being rapidly devalued. That's going to create systemic risk, in my opinion. So I'm wrong about that. It looks like
Up or down?
This looked like it bottomed when we bottomed in April too. So yeah, this coming down was not good for markets. That's.
How about BTC is correlated to anything that goes down? But
only
uncorrelated to anything that
downside.
goes up.
Only downside correlation. We've been gifted with that.
how generous.
And we get the diet silver breakout on XMR.
I will say that is my favorite part about crypto is that whenever stocks dive, we dive harder, but when they pump, we do nothing.
Or go down still.
Or yeah, Louis, you're right. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
Mercy.
This is a little. This is like the one thing I've been watching to fade my recent optimism. Is this chart, which is USDT. I always have a problem saying this. USDT. USDT.D.
USDT.
This looks a lot like here, right? Where it looked like it was going to break down and then it went up. I think if we do go up, I mean, anything's possible, right? I don't think we come back to the highs. I think we impulse up into this inefficiency and then come down so this would be kind of like your last leg down that is always on the table, right? But this hanging around up here, I don't love the look of. So like this is something I'm monitoring as well and checking my own bias here, where if you start to see this, I think that would lead to whether that's a sweep of the lows of Bitcoin, whether that's another leg down, this is something that I've been watching. But I think if you get this impulse, everyone's really, really going to be like, oh, yep, it's over. And we do something like this, right? And I say that because I was tracking the DXY very closely, end of 2024, entering into 2025. And the same thing happened on the DXY. Let's see if I can pull it up here. Let me put the weekly chart. Nope. Where I remember everybody was calling for new highs on the DXY when we had this range breakout. Everyone was getting,
That is really interesting. It looks very similar.
dollars going for new highs. And what happened? We backfilled a weekly inefficiency, almost identical to the one we have on USDT.D. We stalled and we broke down.
What do we think about the
So
moon? Sorry, Louis. Just it's a great point here. I just wanted to talk about the moon.
That's Tommy. You gotta ask Tommy.
Tommy, can you tell me about the moon and its
What do I
many
think about
phases?
Well, we're in a new moon phase right now. Technically, we kind of dumped like right after we had the new moon a few days ago, if I am recalling correctly. But yeah, like I said, I mean, the astrology for February is pretty gnarly, very gnarly actually. February 13th, February 20th. I would probably give those dates. Tomorrow actually has some not so good stuff, so we'll see what we get. But
Oh, goody.
I think today, ironically, did have positive astro. So study that.
So this is something interesting as well, where even if we do get this one last leg down, whether it's quick, whether it's a sweep, whether we sweep the rest of those lows on Bitcoin we've been talking about for months, I think it's quick. And I think a lot of these altcoins are showing that because they're, not all of them, but a lot of them are sitting at macro range lows, right? So I don't know whether it's here or slightly lower, one more impulse down. I still think we're in the area where we could see a similar move on USDT.D that we saw in the Dixie back here. So I think this is interesting to watch as well. But I don't love that this is staying sticky up here, right? This looks like it wants to go a little higher first. So we'll see how it plays out.
It's hard to ignore that it looks just like last bull markets, like transitional fractal into a bear market.
Yeah.
It's hard to ignore that. Even the inverse head and shoulders thing, it
here.
even looks kind of similar. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is hard to ignore that. But I'm going to choose to ignore it for a little bit longer. So just enough to once again be wrong on everything. So
I'm a bit afraid that the region, like the USDT spikes to the upside, can be more brutal, which doesn't necessarily have to be like, 1-to-1 downside for crypto, but like I also am watching the region, on this chart that you have outlined. But when we look at the spikes in the past, we see that like crypto was moving up, but so was the USDT dominance, right? And so what I'm saying is that the magnitude can differ, but yeah, I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, like, is there a world where this goes up if we don't like nuke? I don't know.
Sorry?
Is there a world where this like impulse is a lot higher and we don't like nuke, like crypto doesn't?
No. That's not what I was saying. Just that, like, let's say it blasts through all the highs, the USDT dominance. I don't think it necessarily like means BTC is at 20K, right?
Yeah.
Is what I'm saying. Like it can still be like, let's say 70, 60, whatever, right? Just not like 2022 bear market lows, because these prices are, again, the general acceptance of Tether and USDC has been going up through the years. So they are they are inversely correlated, of course, but its acceptance has been growing. So they are technically in a long time frame bull market both, although they are inversely correlated. proper risk management, you mean going 100x long on Hyperliquid?
Only 100x.
Well, you can go 300x short hype on Aster.
That was such an FU that they did that too, which is so funny. But no, we don't have a risk management course necessarily, but we do have one really great kind of like all-in TA FA course. Pretty sure it's like 8 hours. It's on our website. If you go to becausebitcoin.com, you'll find it. But yeah, it has some risk management stuff in there, but it's not like just about risk management. I'm dropping a new course really soon, by the way. It's going to be free. It's going to be how to get started with like AI and automated trading. It's going to be great. It's going to be really great. 100% free. You guys are going to love it. How to deploy your first automated strategy. Boom. 100% free. Just because I love you guys.
Just scrolling through.
I think a good rule of thumb for risk management in crypto is every time you see a green candle, just assume that it's a lie. That's really good risk management. Well, I can't send you the VFP, but what I can do is tell you about our new product that's dropping in like a week, which will allow you to actually use the VFP.
Man, these altcoins.
I think I muted myself, but I think I'm back now. Am I back?
Are we so back, Max?
I think I'm back now. Yeah, so this is a good point. So yeah, it's the title of the course will be like how to deploy your first automated strategy using AI, right? But then it's just going to be me for 3 hours being like, here's how you buy Andy on chain, okay? I lied. Okay, it's not about AI and automation. I'm just kidding, guys. It's just a joke. Just joking around. Or maybe I'm not. I don't know. Haven't decided yet.
Dollar's about to nuke.
Which is obviously very bullish for crypto, right?
Technically.
Right?
Yan's gonna outpace it.
Right? 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 Anakin? Right? Anakin, right?
So is the dollar just like kind of more or less trading super correlated to TLT now? Not super correlated, but like somewhat. Asking for yield's sake, because if the dollar goes down, wouldn't that mean yields are going higher? In theory.
Chef.
What?
I feel like that's your thing.
So the dollar is trading somewhat correlated to TLT. So if the dollar is going down a lot, potentially, TLT goes down, wouldn't that mean yields can go up further?
Wait. If DXY goes down, that means that the yields should be going down as well, which means that TLT should be going up.
Because it seems like TLT is trading somewhat correlated to the dollar, at least I would say over the last like 6 months. It's not a huge sample size for an asset like that, but
no, of course, because if DXY goes down, and obviously it's not a one-to-one correlation, but like if the dollar goes down, the value of it, that means the yields also go down, which means that the TLT goes up. TLT is inversely correlated to the yield market, which is, by
Right.
the way, the reason why you can chart the yields, because they have an ETF, right, which is TLT and others, and so it makes sense that you would see TLT being correlated to DXY, but yeah, the TLT is mainly decided by the yields, and the yields are mainly decided by obviously the Fed policy, the dollar, strength or weakness, and so forth.
Is that a Dexter reference in the comments? Yeah, I'm just I have TLT and the dollar right next to each other right now. And they've been trading pretty correlated since the tariff tantrum. And we're starting to see the dollar move lower. So if I see TLT start to move down this week, that would be somewhat telling to me.
But inversely correlated, TLT and DXY.
No, they're trading like pretty hand in hand since last April. Which, you know, usually I would also assume the opposite.
I suppose that would just be some like maybe local disbalance, but generally, again, TLT down, DXY up. So if DXY continues to sell off here, which I think it should mean TLT should essentially go up. But we have to keep in mind also that TLT is mainly made up of 20 to 30-year bonds, and I don't think they are going as much down as perhaps the short-term ones. Are we discussing bonds?
I know. It's tough because, like, I would so much rather talk about altcoins than bonds, but altcoins are doing really kind of nothing, you know?
We can discuss how low they are going.
Altcoins. Oh, I can do that. Let's look at the crime of the month, man. Let's look at River.
River. I never heard about it.
Instead of crime of the day, we'll go with crime of the month, because we're not getting a crime every day, which I guess is a positive in from like a net standpoint.
Holy shit.
The real bull market.
Is that the new
heard
scam
of.
pump?
What?
Is that the new scam pump produced by Binance? I don't know. I'm just asking.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, of course.
That's,
Who else is committing crime in this industry right now?
It's not listed on spot on Binance, but we know how that works.
Top is in when they list it on spot.
So technically, there could be more upside.
Jeez, what a chart. Misgenerational wealth again. Yeah, apparently. I mean,
Time
what
to
markets
ape
can you
now.
even trade this on? I can probably guess, like, what exchanges you can trade it on. I did see.
It's currently ranked nearly 8 billion FDV, and it's the rank 48 on CoinMarketCap.
Oh my God.
And I never heard of it. It just launched in October. Okay. Good luck. I would probably, like, someone asked if we teach risk management. I generally think this is a great time to ape in with your life savings on leverage, because there is always a way to make it in a single day. Obviously, what I just said, don't listen to it.
Oh, you didn't make it in a single day trading a river token, Anon? God, that's so funny. I did notice something, maybe it's worth keeping an eye on, is somebody short like $40 million worth of a notional size of silver on Hyperliquid perps. Kind of suspicious. I'm asking myself if, like, he's been short for a while, so I'm kind of asking myself if it's like CZ trying to fuck with Hyperliquid again, trying to break the HIP 3 market specifically, but who the hell knows? Would it really surprise you?
No.
At this point?
No. No. I have a question. So I feel like Hyperliquid has been thought of as a bit of like a layup trade. Do we think that Hype will almost kind of go through the same thing that maybe like a Netflix went through, where it will do just fine, but it became such a pioneer for DEXs and was such a good product that they're going to basically have so much competition that that liquidity is just going to get fractured a little bit, and Hype maybe won't be as quick to be as to be like an obvious layup as people are kind of thinking.
I do think something is going to happen to that trade to make it not so obvious, because there's no such thing in crypto, in my opinion, as an obvious trade. Like if you've been around long enough, you know that obvious trades are going to either get weeded out through time or price. I don't really view Lighter as a real competitor to Hyperliquid. Maybe some people do. I don't really think it's going to be like the L1 trade where you have like a Solana to an ETH. There's just not enough. There's just not enough food to go around for everybody to eat in the perps deck space, at least not right now. So I tend to think that it's going to be weeded out through price a lot lower than here, because we're at 22, 23 bucks on Hyperliquid, and everybody is still saying, yeah, this is the trade of the cycle, guys. Like, this is the only, here's the part that I am going to push back on. Like, it's like you talk about Hyperliquid and everybody's like, yeah, that's a good coin. That's a great coin. We love Hyperliquid. Like, okay, you're right. Hyperliquid is a good coin. But what happened at the bottom when we were at $7 or $8? It was not a good coin. Everybody was afraid to buy it because they thought maybe it was North Korea, maybe it was CZ. They're going to have liquidity issues. And I think the sentiment that we're seeing right now on Hyperliquid is nowhere near what it was when we were at $7 to $8 the first time. So I think we're going lower.
Damn it.
Are the people saying it's a good trade actually buying down here, though?
Yeah, I know people who are who have begun to buy some spot down here, and I think they're early. I mean, it reminds me of when people were buying Solana at like 30 or 40 bucks.
Yeah,
they were right. It was the trade of the cycle, but a lot of them puked their bags.
Yeah, that they did. That they did. I don't know. I think Hyperliquid's going to be here for a long time. But yeah, there definitely is like a consensus that I think maybe needs to be tested just a little bit. But I mean, look, if for whatever reason Bitcoin and ETH resolve up from here, the chart's probably bottomed, you know.
Yeah. I mean, if Bitcoin and ETH are bottomed here, then people are going to start running the BNB fractals on Hype.
Yo, for sure. I will be one of them.
I mean, it kind of does look a little similar, not exactly the same. but I wouldn't fault you for making that comparison from here, right? And buying under that premise as the fractal chud.
They're very different market caps, though. Like the BNB fractal, if my memory serves me, very, very different.
Yeah, Pepe was not an obvious trade at the lows. It was obvious
Everything is
trade went up 10x. There was little to no hope on Pepe at the lows.
Man, I'm old enough to remember when they called Pepe the atom of meme coins. I would not say it was an obvious trade when that was happening.
I was very convicted in Pepe, but it was not easy at the lows because there was like a vampire attack. Remember when Pauly launched Pork? That was literally like the deviation bear market low. And then you had the like Pepe coin guys being like, we were the first Pepe, you know, like there was that whole, they were trying to champion their like, you know, I don't know, their like sympathy takeover where they had some like video, like long formatted, highly edited video, like explaining their origins. And like, I thought it was pathetic, but you know, whatever. I'm like, just because you're like the first coin or whatever, it doesn't mean shit. It's like if you were the first and you had first mover advantage and you still couldn't be like the dominator, then that even is more bearish, you know? So yeah, it was not so certain. Like there was a lot of FUD going on. I remember I was scooping heavy in the bear market and had to hold through that last dip with size, and it was not comfy. Ended up being a great decision, but it was not comfy at all. Really tested me. There are no obvious trades. In hindsight, it seems obvious. There are no obvious trades, you know.
If you're buying it because it's obvious, I mean, like, just my experience, you're probably in for another like 50% haircut, I would say.
50%. Just shave a little
We're
off.
talking about altcoins here, you know. It's like
just take a little off the top. Just 50%. Not bad.
I don't know. I mean, I'm like obviously going to be a huge stan of Hyperliquid no matter what happens, but I do think the rhetoric is way too certain around what it's going to do next cycle. Therefore, I should be buying it. Like usually when you see that, it's not a buy yet.
I agree with you there. Sometimes it can work out just fine, but I generally agree. I agree with what you're saying. Man, I really hope ETH doesn't fucking nuke here, man. I'm still cautiously optimistic, but
You still have hopes?
and I still have dreams. And each one is beautiful.
Each one is wonderful.
Do I replay the Manchester United commentator?
Yeah, why not?
Just lower your expectations, man. This asset class is not decent anymore.
I mean, I've only been waiting for 5 years for ETH to break
it has
out.
no hope. Give up hope. You will have great time. You will have gorgeous time.
I actually do think that life gets a lot better when you stop caring about the outcome.
Yeah.
Truly.
Yeah.
Like if you just kind of go through life and you try to, you know, take some shots, right, at whatever you're doing. But like completely detach yourself from the outcome, whether it goes in your favor or against, and your response to either one is literally like, oh well, or like fuck it. You kind of have a great life, you know. I've gone through phases when I've tried to like really control outcomes or like be really attached to how things turn out. It's so incredibly stressful trying to manage things that are completely out of your control. And most things are, even things that you think are like totally in your control, it's utter chaos. It's an illusion. But if you just kind of go through life, take the appropriate shots, eventually they'll work out. But like completely detach yourself from it. Anytime it's a failure, Oh well, fuck it. Anytime it's a win, that was great, cool. You know, like don't care. You have to stop caring, especially in crypto.
Have problem, stop caring. Life is literally so easy.
Yeah, that's real.
The video.
I don't know,
video
because
is-
you can think about all the things you should have done differently, or I shouldn't have taken a screenshot. I should have sold. Whatever. Fuck it. Screenshot was epic. I still have the
Say this
screen.
directly to Man United fans. Just lower your expectations, man. You're not a decent club anymore. You're not going to challenge for the title. Just be happy. Just embrace that. It's not the despair. It's the hope that kills.
Jesus.
That's so full of wisdom. It's unbelievable.
It is. And do you know what? He actually followed up by Arsenal, and he said, "Look at Arsenal. They have no hope. They are desperate. They are having a gorgeous time. And you know what? They are the first in the Premier League right now." So,
Just stop caring. I don't know. That doesn't mean act like an idiot, but like just stop caring. You'll be happy.
sometimes be like that. And then it suddenly, starts working, and you're like, I care again.
So what does this even mean? Like, shouldn't have
No
ate
idea.
that burrito. Just picturing this guy just fighting for his life on the toilet, listening to us right now, like holding on to like the railing, like just not okay. Hang in there, buddy. You'll be all right. The only thing that could make this worse is ETH going to $800. So
Well, I have no opinion on that.
I know you agree with me, Tommy. It's okay.
It would
don't
be
have to be
crazy
afraid.
if he went there for sure.
This is a safe space for you. You are an Ask Side jihadist, and you should just.
Fractal Chud.
You are a fractal chud, but you are also an Ask Side jihadist. You love a good bear fractal. Like when you post a bull fractal versus a bear fractal, I can tell like one is just more smooth and like natural for you, you know?
Yeah, I mean it's like that. It's like that. When Bruce Banner is trying to figure out like why he can turn into Hulk sometimes and why he can't, and at the end he's just like, "I'm always angry." That's the secret.
All right. Well, that's the end of the show.
It's probably a good spot to wrap it up.
Take
All
us
right,
out.
guys. We hope you enjoyed the show today. Big week. Got FOMC later. Obviously, we will see what the rest of the market does in the
They're all
meantime.
just crossed out. That's so funny. They're just like stenciled out.
I don't know how to say his name, so I won't even try to butcher it and end up getting like clipped butchering it. But it does feel like this forever range on ETH is never going to end. But
Just look at that range on the screen.
if you guys enjoyed Market Check today, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you have not done so already. A reminder that we do these shows throughout the week, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, with our typical start time being around 11:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time Zone. So catch us again, or not tomorrow, but on Wednesday, the day of FOMC at the same time. But also make sure to tune in for Market Talk, hosted by the legendary King Wabi. That is an X Spaces through the Because Bitcoin account. So make sure to stay following and subscribed to both Because Bitcoin as well as King Wabi on X, so you can be notified when we begin those spaces. But our typical start time now, guys, for Market Talk is around 3:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. We'll be back again on Wednesday, like I said, but until then, thank you as always. And of course, stay safe.
Tired of outdated trading tools, confused charts, dozens of tabs, endless stress? You're not alone. Introducing BB Terminal, your all-in-one command center for crypto trading. Track your portfolio, monitor the markets, stay ahead, all in one place. From chaos to clarity, from struggle to success. BB Terminal.